It should be very clear to you by now how to spot the lie from the truth. A lie will always say, don't listen to this person, only listen to us. You're not allowed to consider that what this person is saying is not harmful because we're telling you it's already harmful. In fact, we're gonna put up a little thing on front of the screen like this so you can't even see it without agreeing or seeing why this is false information. False information. One of my previous videos got fact checked. Big whoop, whatever. Eventually, the fact checking is going to turn into read this document right here. So it's going to bite him in the butt, but whatever, right? Fact check. One of the points in the fact check article that was brought up about your boy was that a certain solution does not alter the function of your deoxyribonucleic acid. But when you read the fact check article, the one that was written by a former writer for Us Weekly, also a not doctor who's just referencing other doctors, but whatever, right? Whatever. When you read the article, it very clearly says, well, technically what Chris says is right. However, that's what it's supposed to do, is alter the function, because it's supposed to generate these antibodies through the creation of injecting this genetic code that basically makes a spike protein, ... They reduce the conversation down to that. Okay, so all I said in that previous video was that this solution alters the function of your deoxyribonucleic acid. That's all I said, which is technically true. That's a fact. Now, it's an opinion if you think that that fact is a good thing or a bad thing, because that's fair. Hey, I understand that what Chris says is technically true, but it's our opinion that this is a good thing because this is what this is what the thing is supposed to do. And the doctor they cited in the article basically said that, proving that I do know what I'm talking about. The difference is they're conflating an opinion with a fact. They're saying, trust the science, but the science actually says that it is possible that retroviruses latent in your bloodstream, which do perform the function of reverse transcription, can matriculate this modified messenger RNA into their genetic makeup. And then when they're performing the process of reverse transcription, which is RNA turning back into DNA, that a certain proprietary secret blend of modified messenger RNA by one pharmaceutical giant or two just might piggyback along for the ride, effectively altering your actual deoxyribonucleic acid, not just the function. All I made the claim is that it's possible. But the issue is that they'd rather tell you an opinion and present it as a fact. And that is dishonest. There's dishonesty from the rip in this, because if they were true, they would say, listen, there is a chance that this happens, but we think the chance is pretty low. And we think that the benefit of what we're trying to achieve here is worth the risk. And that's a fair statement to say so that you can then take that and evaluate whether you agree with that and then take the product if you choose to. But that's not what they're doing. What they're saying is, what that guy said is wrong. Here's a fact that even though he's right, you shouldn't think of it in that way. And that's not a fact. That's an opinion. And in fact, I find that insulting because they're telling you that you're not smart enough to make your own decision. Which one of y'all did I stop your Instagram experience or your Facebook or your Rumble experience and tell you to watch this video? Was I interrupting your otherwise regularly scheduled peaceful life to interject a baseless conspiracy? Or have I been trying to do my best, along with hundreds of others like me, to warn people of the dangers of what is being presented here? All over a 99% survival rate. Let's not forget that. I rarely get into it with the haters. I rarely even engage. But this one lady decided she wanted to pop off on my timeline, so I said, all right, I'll bite. And very benignly and respectfully, I'm like, well, okay, let's not forget it's a 99% survival rate. I can't believe what an ignorant statement of 99% survival. If you have not fully understood that there is a 99.4 to 99.9% chance of you surviving this if you're under the age of 70, then I don't know what to tell you. Brainwash maybe is the word I would use. Gullible, late. I don't really know the word. All I know is everybody's pretty much acknowledged this, and the CDC and all the actual official document paperwork bear this out despite all the lies and all the fudging of the numbers that they've been doing. Okay? So the threat is so much lower than they've projected. So they've been lying about A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, and K. And now we all the way down to element of P, and y'all want to tell me Telling the truth? Oh, but look, it said right here that they can't do it because it's been made replication incompetent. Okay. And y'all just trust them that they did all the research and they tested every possible option to know that it's not going to affect your genome in this way. You know, the brand new procedure, an experiment that's being rolled out worldwide. And after, I don't know, 6 to 8 weeks worth of testing. You do realize they usually do 6 to 8 years worth of testing on this stuff. But they did it for about 8 weeks and said it was effective. Effective at what exactly? Do you know? If you can answer me the question, effective at what? And be honest. Well, I have looked into what they mean by effective, and I do realize that the pharmaceutical company, the CDC, and the news all carried 3 wildly different assumptive definitions of the word effective. But technically speaking, the product manufacturer says it's effective at reducing symptoms. Period. Not preventing the spread, not preventing the contraction. So, again, let me give you a riddle. Let's use HIV and AIDS as a, hypothetical. Okay, so everybody's familiar with the fact that HIV is a virus. AIDS is a disease. Presumably, HIV causes AIDS. Nobody gets AIDS without contracting HIV. That's how the story goes. Am I right? Okay. So what if I told you I had a solution that can reduce your symptoms of AIDS, which again, I know that these exist, but hypothetically speaking, I had a solution that can reduce the symptoms of AIDS up to 50%. And now in this hypothetical HIV pandemic, you can now go kiss grandma and have parties and cookouts and celebrate the 4th of July and all the independence that we don't have. What if I told you, okay, it's not going to stop the spread of HIV at all, but it'll stop you from feeling AIDS. Would you feel safe enough to just waltz around and resume life as usual, despite the fact that you're still wearing 2 masks? Honest question. Because everybody knows that the actual spreading of HIV is what's the issue here. If I contract HIV and I spread it on, I might not develop full-blown AIDS, but the person over there might. And if in this hypothetical scenario I have full-blown AIDS, I just can't feel it, then how responsible am I to just resume life as usual now that I've been fully inoculated with this hypothetical HIV gene therapeutic? Because that's what they're presenting here. You realize they are conflating the terms CV19 and SARS-CoV-2. This prevents symptomatic CV19, and that's a true statement. It does prevent symptomatic CV19. CV19 is a disease. It's not a virus. The news has been going like this with the 2 terms so that they're just one thing in your mind. But truthfully, scientifically, the science that you trust, they're 2 different things, okay? So it's preventing you from feeling the effects of CV19, but it's not actually stopping the spread of the actual pathogen that triggers that, according to their narrative. So I'm asking everybody, how are we going back to normal? How are you doing this to help grandma? How are you just doing this to help your coworkers and the children at your school, the people in your district? What's helping them exactly? The fact that you can't feel the thing that you have that you're still spreading? How is it helpful? Exactly. How does this nebulous concept of herd immunity that just seems to keep changing definitions, how does that ever get achieved since the prevention of transmission is never actually asserted? Now, we're pretty sure this will stop infection. Well, come on. Pretty sure. We're still waiting to see. Okay, so you don't know. They love saying stuff like that. We have no data to suggest. Well, exactly. I have no data to suggest that I'm not pretty, right? I have no data to suggest that. Why? Because I don't look for it. I look for only things that validate my beauty, all right? They'll never have the data to suggest the things that they never look for the data to suggest for. All right? That's how they get this wordplay. If you're pregnant, go ahead and take it. We didn't test it on any actual pregnant women on purpose for ethical reasons because we care about the ethics. However, a few women accidentally got pregnant, so I'm pretty sure it's fine. See, WebMD said it, which, by the way, is what the source was in the fact check article A WebMD observation. Oh, a doctor on WebMD said that even though they told the ladies in the trial not to get pregnant, a few of them did. Half of them were in the placebo group. Like, okay, great. So the saline water didn't affect their pregnancy. Bravo. But what about the other group? Well, they got pregnant midway through the trial. Have you actually looked at the doctors questioning, raising concerns about the pregnancy issue? What they're saying? It has more to do with carrying a baby full term than it is with conceiving. But you didn't do that, did you? You just got paid to write a hit piece on me and source WebMD articles where I'm sourcing PhDs who are molecular biologists and scientists saying the opposite. Does everybody realize that doctors don't always agree? That experts, board certified experts, don't always agree on everything. You go to one doctor, should I take this blood pressure medicine? No, you shouldn't. Actually, that's not good. I don't really like what they're doing. You should actually just eat better. This other doctor, oh no, yeah, you should take Liprex, Lipitor, or whatever. Oh yeah, that's good. Does this doctor get a kickback from saying that? Well, maybe, but that's not why he said it. He said it because it works. He's pretty sure. Okay, so one doctor disagrees with another doctor. Which one's right? It's up to you to figure that out if you're actually trying to get your blood pressure in check, right? So how come when it comes to the dangers of an experimental gene therapeutic, that doesn't seem to apply for most people logically? Like that one doctor could say, yo, no, this is a great thing. And another doctor could say, actually, I don't think it's a great thing. And both points shouldn't be considered evenly. And if you really do feel like you are consenting into an informed decision, then make the choice, boo. Do you, boo? All right? I'm not here to stop you. I'm just trying to say it's an act of Fahrenheit 451 going on to prevent you from ever hearing that there's another voice, from ever hearing that there's another opinion on this matter, from ever being told, you guys, I don't know what to tell you, but they're lying about this, and this. And if you just read the actual paperwork that I've presented, you would know that. But I heard that somebody said that that's a conspiracy. What does that even mean? A conspiracy? What does that mean? Two people getting together to decide something to a pointed end? Yeah, it probably is. Don't you think? The board of directors probably got together to decide some things that they wanted to push through. Is that okay? A conspiracy? That guy over there says a conspiracy. So because it affects my actual deoxyribonucleic acid, I should look into it? Who do you trust? Who do you trust? That's all I want to know. I'm not even telling you to trust me. All I'm doing is saying, listen, I am coming to you today in sincerity. I'm not pretending here. I'm trying to keep it lighthearted and serious enough to point out that we are in a war, and it is an information war. And that information war is very one-sided, lopsided, tilted, jilted, slanted, skewed. And the joke is on you and me and our family. Because for every person they can get to inject themselves with something that they don't recognize, it's just another lifelong customer at an open-ended option. Best believe that this is an approach at a biotechnical operating system. You trust the science, but do you trust the computer science? I mean, I was a computer science major, but do you trust the computer science? Do you know about the computer science? Or are you still out here under this illusion that a doctor who went to school 50 years ago is supposed to be an expert on technology that came out 50 days ago? I will never tell you what to think. I will only say, listen, they're not giving you the full story. If you want to make an informed decision, you should read the counter arguments. When I go online and go buy something like a product, I don't care about reading the positive reviews. I do read a few. Okay, yeah, the marketing team says the same thing. Okay, it's great. Got it. Let me read all the people who didn't like it. That's how you know whether it's a good product. You go to the reviews, and if you got half stars and tons of people saying this product is crap, it's probably crap because enough people have bad enough experiences. Occasionally, you'll find, I didn't like it and it came and it was broke. Okay, that's not a reason to negatively rate it, but whatever. I didn't like the customer service, and when I tried to make a return, it took 3 days. So 1 star. Okay, next, right? You can decide. I decide for myself what I feel like is worth it or not. They are removing all the negative reviews about their product, not even allowing you to read a person who took the product, not anti-science, someone who took it already, and is saying, yo, I took it, but like now this is happening to me. Oh, you can't see that. No, that didn't happen. What? I thought you were this is about my health and safety. It is. It is, but that person is weird. And so what happened to them won't never happen to anybody else. Well, why does it happen to 36,000 other people? Don't look at the government website. Trust the government. I went to VAERS. That's a government website. But don't go to VAERS. Don't go there. It's unsubstantiated. Anybody could just submit. You mean like the girl over there who said she tried to submit 3 times and didn't show up? I guess, but like there's no guarantee that it's going to show up if you submit it. All these people over here are saying that they have verifiable issues, tried to submit VAERS reports, and it hasn't gone through. VAERS hasn't shown up. So which one is it? Trust the government websites, trust the CDC, or don't? Because when I go to the CDC and they tell me that VAERS represents 1% of all adverse events, and then I go look at all the adverse events, and we're up to, 3,500 deaths. If I do my little double decimal place scoot to get that 1% to a more representative 100%, according to you, Department of Health and Human Services, that's pushing 350,000 deaths. That's actually rivaling the amount of deaths for the whole disease all of last year within 3.5 months of this, solution rollout. Maybe I should just pause. Like maybe y'all need to go back to the drawing board and tell me why the whole Moderna CEOs over here talking about we only giving 500 million, but we know Joe is over there devoting 1.5 billion to the marketing. It's like, why don't y'all diversify some of that marketing money to the science people so they can work this out? So maybe that 3,500 deaths could only be 350 deaths or 0 deaths. How about that? What about that? A product that doesn't kill anybody. A product that's gosh darn near mandated that actually just doesn't kill you when you take it. Man, what a wonderful product that would be. Ha! So answer me why I will present to you one side of the story as well as the other side of the story and leave it in your court to make the decision. Well, that guy over there said, no, you can't do that. Don't listen to him. Don't actually look at anything but what we say. Well, trust the experts. Who? Well, name the expert. Oh, that guy. Look at his LinkedIn. He literally works for the people selling the thing. Like, why would I trust him objectively? This is a war, you guys. They're lying to us. I don't know how much simpler to put it. They're hiding the truth. Why hide the truth? Why market? If this is so good for me, why do you have to sell it so hard? You know what's good for me? Oxygen. I love it. Tastes good, smell good. All right? Nobody has to come out here and be like, Christopher, have you inhaled your oxygen today? Here we are, inhaling our oxygen, making our brain cells grow together. There's no commercials for that. Why? Because nobody needs to tell me that breathing air is healthy for me. It ain't killed me up to this point. And don't even get me started how y'all really went from like, oh, it's going to take at least a year before everybody gets their turn. Everybody's got to wait their turn. All right, we're just starting this out on top of December. First responders first, old people first, black people second. All right. And then 4.5 months later, okay, everybody can get it. I ensured that there was enough for every American. How does that work exactly? When they started the production run in December, they weren't running the machines at full tilt then? Till old Joe Croak down there tripped down the steps of Air Force One to tell them, oh, you guys, make as many as you can. Oh, okay, I guess we will. The president just now ensured there's enough. All right, crank the knobs. Jensen, crank the knobs. Of course they were making these at full capacity. So if they're telling you last December, oh, it's going to be until next December that everybody has anywhere close to the opportunity to take one, and only 4 months later can be like, actually by April/May, everybody can get it. They said May. In March, he said May. And then 2 weeks early, in mid-April still, they go, okay, actually there's enough for everybody. So that tells me one thing. Either y'all was lying about the supply and the fact that it would take everybody a year to have an option to take one, or the demand is nowhere near as high as they expected. Half the Army, half the first responders, half the healthcare workers in all these counties are like, pass. And they got y'all out here thinking, and the lines are around the club. Look at this clinic and this pop-up tent over here. And man, people just can't wait to get this thing. That's simply not true. I know people who was nowhere near first responders who got it way back in January. They making it seem scarce so that you feel like you want. It's the same thing they do with the club. Look at the line. This club is popping. The bouncer is like letting one person in as one person comes out. The club must be lit. Let's go there. Truth be told, they half at capacity, and they're doing that to create the illusion of hype. That's exactly what they're doing with these gene therapeutics. Same thing. They had enough plenty. We got to think, you guys, they pulling the wool over a lot of our eyes. And they really want y'all to just equate this to all the previous iterations of this type of solution. And just go on and just take it and it's fine. And then, 100% efficacy for children and adolescents. So what has 100% efficacy? Aspirin don't even have 100% efficacy. Sometimes you take aspirin, you still get a headache. Still, there is nothing that's 100% effective. That's just the biggest bucket of bull crap I've ever heard. And they can tell you this lie because they've been lying to you since 2 weeks to slow the spread. Since some guy ate a bat in China. Please don't forget that that's exactly how this started, and they have not backed away from that official story. That is the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard. Like December 2019 is when people first start eating bats in China. Let me ask you this. So you went all last year trying to avoid catching the very virus that's supposed to be the deadliest one ever, only to line up at a clinic and have them stick that exact virus in you? Or even worse, stick genetic material that causes your own body to produce that exact virus inside of you? I'm gonna ask you the question again in case you didn't quite get what I'm saying. So you went all last year, the whole 364 and a half days on this entire earth, trying to avoid contracting or becoming exposed to SARS-CoV-2, only to line up and get SARS-CoV-2 physically stuck inside of you. And I don't want to hear it's an attenuated form, it's just a spike protein. Just It's just 14 days. It's just a mask. It's just a passport. It's just a contact tracing app. Where could this possibly go? If you don't have the spiritual conviction to know that something's fishy and something's up, I don't know what to tell you. You are not going to sit here and tell me that closing down gyms but keeping McDonald's is open, fast food's open, is about health. The old guy who's mocking the idea of masks, only to come later and say, oh, no, you have to wear one. Only to come even later and say, oh, no, you have to wear two, or you should wear two, or who knows if one works, then two must work too. Only to get checked by a comedian, being the only person with enough balls to actually challenge him on some of his lies. No journalists, at least no journalists that they'll give him access to. But a comedian, a Mexican comedian, puts the fire to the chief spokesperson for health in all of America, who personally takes 6,000 IUs of vitamin D per day. Why? Because the results have been pretty much identified since last year that people who have high vitamin D counts in their blood don't suffer or die from this issue. So he takes it, but he don't tell you to take it. And you have to happen to catch him in a weird interview. Well, I take 6,000 IUs of vitamin D, but I'm not going to tell you to do it because I'm trying to kill. Because trust the science. There's no explanation for that. This is a genocide. You don't have to be involved in it. And if you already happen to have received some, or you're around a bunch of people who did, you can still take your health and your well-being into your own hands. Because at the end of the day, that's what the issue is. People want that guy over there, that company over there, this institution over here. I don't care where their money comes from. I don't care what else. I don't care what they believe. I don't care how much integrity they have. I just want them to fix the issue that hasn't affected me all year. The virus that I am scaredly, deathly afraid of breathing in. I go to the grocery store and I touch the debit keypad that everybody else touches and doesn't get sprayed down between sprays. And even if it did get sprayed down, it's all antibacterial, not antiviral anyway. So I'm not really actually afraid of getting sick. I'm just, afraid of something. I don't know what. Nothing makes sense. I'll put it on for 2 seconds while I walk through the threshold of the restaurant, but the table I'm sitting at is actually right here by the door, and I now have it off. It's now sitting on the dirty table. It fell on the dirty floor. It's been in my dirty pocket that my dirty keys have been in. Those keys have touched everything else that my hands have touched. This guy's wearing gloves. It's not like microbes don't live on the surfaces of gloves. Like, oh, a glove. I guess I'm safe now because it's a glove. A microbe can never live on the outside of latex, only on skin. Nothing makes any sense of what they're doing. Nothing they're doing makes any epidemiological or virological or scientific sense. And all of the actual random controlled trials and scientific paperwork bear witness to that. Are you going to look at them? Or are you going to let that guy on TV tell you that it's anti-science to even consider looking at them? Which one of us is lying to you? I'm not mad. I'm not. I'm just worked up because I see good people pretty much getting picked off by the pharmaceutical sniper they just drive up to in the clinic, roll their sleeve up for, because they're being psychologically manipulated, and there's no simpler, nicer way to say it. So people can call me an anti whatever. I don't care about the names. What I care about is you and your children. And if you think this is even close to being over, you don't know anything yet. Because if you don't think they're coming for the children, this children's version, 100% efficacy, right, heading into the new school year in the fall, then you sleeping. And it's time to wake up, because now it's getting serious. Now they bringing the kids in. And if you think these people have any honor about them, any integrity about them, then you haven't been paying attention.